Hi, I'm Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are wrapping up my tarot practice for the month of January. And if you happen to be new here, this is where I talk about decks I've used, my practice in general, any new things that I may have gotten in, maybe plans coming up for my channel, depending on if I've planned that far ahead. I talk about my omens and anything to do with my practice in general. I have a lot to share with you today. So before I forget, because I want to get this out of the way first before I jump into my practice, if you happen to see my community tab, or if you happen to be a member of my Discord channel, I asked what deck did you guys want to study or do a deck study on on my Discord, not here on YouTube, on my Discord. I put up a poll in both places, and the winner is Tarn Ellis's Earth Woman Tarot. This is produced by Lo Scarabeo. I am really excited about doing a deck study with everybody on this deck. I love everything about this deck, and it starts at the beginning of March, so if you want to join, you have plenty of time to pick up this deck and join my Discord. I will have a link to my Discord channel in the description of this video. Please keep in mind that those links are only good for 7 days, so if you haven't joined my Discord already, make sure you click that link so you can play along with us. And I already set up the category or channel or whatever the heck it's called on Discord. I think it's called a channel. I already set up the channel on Discord surrounding the deck study. For this, I put the dates in there of when we're going to be doing what. So just briefly, I'm going to tell you about this deck study. For the deck studies, I keep my deck studies very laid back, and the reason being is because I know sometimes for people to participate in things, especially in a group, it makes people anxious. So I don't want anybody to feel anxious about this, because I know I feel anxious participating in large groups or sharing what I think about a card and then worrying what people might critique it, I guess. So I don't want anybody to feel that way. So basically what we're going to do is I have the major arcana broke up into 2, and then a week set aside for each one of the minor suits. And the only thing I ask of you is to share. Share, please share. Share what you think of the cards. Share if you think something is missing, or if there's some sort of symbolism that maybe you don't understand in the cards. Give your perspective on it. The reason being, when I did this with the Ehrenberg study, even though there was a very small group of us, when I listened to the perspective that other people were giving about the cards and what they saw in the cards, or what a color in the card meant to them, or the way the image was portrayed in that card, it made me pull that card out of the deck, go back, look at it, and brought a whole new perspective to that card for me. So it added another layer in for me, because everybody has a different take on things. Everybody has their own nuances when they read tarot, the things that they like about certain cards, what they expect to see in certain cards. And I want people to share that. So I am really looking forward to hearing what everybody thinks about it, to seeing maybe if the colors, like here in the 3 of Pentacles, do these colors mean or represent anything to you since they're on here, and what that brings to the card for you, whatever it may be. So that's really all I ask of you, is to share. Share your perspective each week as we maneuver through the cards and read through the guidebook, and like I said, give our perspective on it. And that will start March 2nd. So if you're interested, please make sure that you join the Discord channel. Sorry if that was really loud on the microphone, but make sure that you join the Discord channel. So I've rambled on enough about that, but I definitely wanted to put that out there first, so anybody who wants to pick up that deck can participate with me. So let's get to my tarot practice. I did a lot in my tarot practice in the month of January. I have to be honest and say that this is the first time, probably in the past 3 years, I'm going to gauge it at 3 years, that I have felt so uplifted, so engaged, and so fulfilled by my actual tarot practice. For so long, it just felt like I was going through the motions. My tarot practice became habitual. I was just pulling cards, I think some days to pull cards without really caring what the cards had to say to me. That's why last year I took everything out of my practice just to see what I would miss, what I wouldn't miss, etc. And everything that I've been doing so far in the month of January has just felt right and felt nurturing and felt uplifting. And that's what I want from my tarot practice, because my tarot practice is my spiritual practice. It is my spiritual home base. It is how I connect to the divine. This is my connection to my higher self. And if I'm not getting anything out of it, or it's not fitting, or I'm just going through the motions, then there's something missing. But the Mother Mary and the Hecate practice that I developed, that is using those two goddesses together and working through some issues and getting support from both of them, has been the most enriching and fulfilling practice that I have done in a long time. And it makes me excited to want to use my cards again and adapt it to my life and see, you know, the changes or adjustments or whatever it is that I need to make through those readings. And so far, I am so glad that I followed my intuitive nudges when it was coming forward to work with those two goddesses together. And like I said, I'm just feeling very uplifted with that practice. I'm feeling very uplifted working with Mother Mary in general, because I've also been working with Mother Mary and the Biblical Tarot, because I am currently deep diving the Biblical Tarot with a fellow friend. And this tarot, I know a lot of people don't like it because of the, you know, the religious nature of it. And I understand that. I get where people come from when they talk about that that's just not their vibe. But for me personally, I have enjoyed the work that I've done with the Biblical Tarot this month. And we are into our third, at the time I'm filming this, we're into our third week, or starting our third week. So we'll be moving on to one of the minor suits. Now, I will say that the guidebook that comes with it is just quick upright and quick reversed meanings. That's all it is. It is this book here, which is the extra book that you can buy separately. I picked this up off of Amazon. It was $10. This is really what has, I guess, made me fall in love even more with this Biblical Tarot. I really love how this relates it to that religious image without feeling like the religious aspect of it is being jammed down my throat. I don't know if that makes sense or not. I am really liking studying the Biblical Tarot, and they are coming out with a shadow edition of the Biblical Tarot. Now, I don't know if any of the images are being changed or not on it. I do know there is a book that I am definitely 100% picking up from Amazon. It's also $10, and I cannot remember the name, and I will try to insert a picture of it from Amazon or from somewhere on the web, that is using this deck but exploring the shadow meanings to the cards, which just gives me another layer to use this deck with. So I am definitely 100% picking that up. But this was another practice that I did this month. This, like I said, has been very empowering and enriching for me. And like I said, I know the deck isn't for everybody, but I am really, really enjoying it. Another thing I'm going to talk about before I talk about this page here is my Omen Days. And if you happen to participate in Omen Days with me, leave a comment below how your omens have worked out for you this month. One of the things that I saw as one of the omens on December 26th was this flock of birds. It was a huge flock of birds that would go from the electrical line to one tree to another tree, back to the electrical line, and it would go in that sequence. What I noticed, for 15 minutes I watched them, and something I noticed was there was this one single bird that was constantly behind. Constantly a minute or 30 seconds or 45 seconds from leaving one place to fly to the next place. The whole flock would already land in the tree before this little bird left the wire to get to the tree. And by the time it got to the tree, the other flock had moved back over to somewhere else. It was a consistent cycle that I watched. And that omen was basically my calling card for the month of January. I just felt like I was constantly playing catch up. I was like that little bird, one step, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, whatever it was, behind everything else. Hence the missing video that I had this month, because I just didn't have time to fit it in. It was just, I felt the whole first half of the month was catch up for me. And the other omen that really stood out, that made a big impact for me, was I can see our neighbor's light display for Christmas from our kitchen window. And they leave their at that time, I mean, they're down now, but at that time, their Christmas display was up and lit all night long. So in the mornings at 5 a.m., it's dark out, and as I poured my coffee, I would always look over at this Christmas display. But on the 26th, what stood out to me was this angel, this lit angel right at the front of the display, brighter than every other light in their front yard. And I'd never seen it. So that evening, the same window, the same Christmas display, and there's no angel. There was no lit angel. It was the same display that it had been all Christmas season long. And it just made me stop and pause and think about that. And I notated that for an omen. And really what I felt was it was just kind of a reminder of how truly supported I am, and what my faith means to me and what my spiritual practice means to me. And there's been a big disconnect with me in regards to not my faith, but I feel there's in my spiritual practice in some way. That's what I took that as a reminder that my spiritual practice is important. My faith, my trust, my belief in the divine, that sort of thing is important. And those are the two omens I think that I'm going to point out for this month. So let's talk about this practice that I added in this month also. The spark of the idea for it came when I was watching Lisa Pepez's, she was talking about stuffing her envelopes for the coming year. And she talked about these two decks right here. The Divine Wisdom, Wisdom of the Divine Feminine and Wisdom of the Shadow. These are both independent decks by, I know their names on here somewhere, Jessica Richetti and Jenny Hahn. And they did both of these. Yeah. I picked these up, I don't know, a year, 2 years. When did these come out? A year, 2 years ago? 2021, 2 years ago, from their website. And what I decided to do with these two decks is I pulled a Divine Feminine, what I needed to embrace for the month. And this month it was rawness. And in case you've never seen the cards, I'm going to show them here. This deck is beautiful, and I used it quite a bit when I first got it. And then again, as my collection grew, it just ended up going into my cupboard and getting pushed to the back. And when Lisa talked about using them, and I can't remember what practice she was going to use them for, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to get these out, and this is how I'm going to use them this month. So this was the energy that I needed to embrace. And then what lies in the shadow this month came from the wisdom of the divine shadow. And this month was frustration. And boy, did I feel that on some level. So basically, that's what I did, was I just shuffled and pulled one card for each. And everything here on the front page is stuff that I took from the guidebook, things that stuck out to me in the guidebook. I read through the contemplations that she has in the guidebook and kind of adapted the questions for myself. And then I did a reading on it, which is underneath here. And then I kind of did the same thing here for what lies in the shadow. Boy, was those two readings were very enlightening, and I really enjoyed that. So I will be carrying that over into the coming months also. Another deck I used for myself in the month of January was the Star Seeker Oracle, a 64 card deck by Nikki, is it Farida? I think she's the Van Mystic, is that correct? Maybe on Instagram. She was running some great sales on her Star Seeker Tarot and this Oracle over Christmas too. So, but I already have both of them. And I was just kind of pulling one card from this deck and getting guidance when I felt I needed to. I didn't pull one from it every day. I didn't necessarily pull one every week or whatever. It was just sporadically when I needed guidance, or when I felt that I, wanted a heads up on something. And I didn't use any tarot with this. I just went ahead and pulled one single card, or sometimes two cards fell out, whatever it was. I really enjoy this deck, this and the Star Seeker Tarot. I feel like, I don't know, they feel like they have that Aquarian energy for me. I don't know why. It probably feels completely different to somebody else. But for me, I like to use these the month of my birthday because of that reason. So yeah, that's why I pulled this one out to use it. So let's talk about decks that I used in my client group and did my monthly email readings with. The first deck I used was the Inquire Within. It's a companion deck of daily tarot questions by Annie Abalone, the tarot professor on Instagram. The next deck was the Wisdom of the Oracle. This is Colette Baron Reed. The last deck is the Tarot of Light, put out by Blue Angel by Tony Carmine Salerno and Denise Jarvie. That was the third deck that I used, and this is how I use them in case it interests you. What I would do is I would pull a question card to start out the week. How can I be generous with myself today? And then I would pull a oracle card. This is the energy that is supporting this question. This is why this question is present. So we have fork in the road. So how can I be generous with myself today? So maybe the problem is you're never generous with yourself. You always overthink it. You don't know what to do. You don't know what to choose or how to be generous with yourself. So you get stuck at those crossroads. And then therefore you don't make any decision about it because maybe you feel guilty about being generous with yourself. So then that's where the tarot would come in. So why am I stuck at the fork in the road when it comes to how can I be generous with myself today? And then I would pull, 3 tarot cards here. And we'll say that it is the Four of Hearts, the Empress, and the Ego. So maybe that's exactly what this is. This is about you feeling that you maybe don't deserve that generosity, that others deserve that somewhere maybe you were taught that you are just to give to others but never give back to yourself, and that sort of thing. So that was the basic concept of working with these three decks together. I really liked the messages and how they came out. I liked pulling a question for the beginning of the week. I told them, think about it, journal, look at how it fits into your life, and then to reflect on it when I would do the reading at the end of the week, and how that question and that oracle card, how it all tied in to one another. These decks worked beautifully with one another. This question deck would work with any deck, honestly. So I'm really glad I picked this up. It's just something else that you can use to help your tarot practice in some way. If you had this on your own, you could pretty much do the exact same concept that I did, for clients. Pull a question to start the week on, and then pull cards throughout the week to see if you are embracing this question, if you are empowered by this question, or whatever the scenario may be. This is independent. These are both mass market. I got this from, where did I put the box? I got this from thetarotprofessor.com. I got it right off of her website. So I really did like the way these three decks worked together, especially the Wisdom of the Oracle with the Tarot of Light. It was like a chef's kiss as far as I'm concerned, the way these two decks paired together. So let's talk about some things that I got in that I wasn't planning on getting in. So January was my birthday month. I said in my first video this month that I was not buying any decks, that I was on a deck freeze, and I said that and I forgot that it was my birthday month. So what I allowed myself to do was I allowed myself 2 decks off of my wish list. But I had criteria. It could only be 2, period, the end. Each deck had to be under $50, and that's under $50 shipped and everything. So it couldn't be 52, 53, it couldn't be any of that. It had to be under the $50 mark, including shipping and tax and all of that. And I actually found 2 decks that I purchased for myself from my wish list. And the first one I got is the Outgrow Yourself Oracle and Tarot by Atka, is it Spauman? And this deck I found on their website. It was $37 and the shipping was very inexpensive, also under 10. And this is a deck that I've had on my wish list and off my wish list and on my wish list and off my wish list for well over a year, probably maybe a year and a half, I think. And I was never really sure how I felt about this, but it just kept showing up more and more and more on people's channels, and people were talking about it and using it. And I just thought, I think this is one I would really like to have in my collection, especially where I feel I am this year in my tarot practice, and where I feel that maybe things are moving for me in my tarot practice, and I'm doing, rebalancing and doing some refocusing and, that sort of thing. So this was the one deck. I can't show you the second deck yet because I have not received it. It's on its way to me. But that deck was the Death Doula Oracle. So when I looked and I saw that it was right under the $50 mark, and it had, I believe it had free shipping with it. And then I had a coupon for her Etsy shop also. I went ahead and I ordered that. So I'll be showing that on my channel once I get it in. I'm sure everybody's seen it already. It's been around for a while, but that was the second deck that I purchased for myself. And now I'm on a deck freeze. I'm not buying anything for myself. I'm not purchasing anything for myself for the next couple months, and just using what I've got in my cabinet. However, I was gifted some decks this month for my birthday. One by such a lovely, well, two, from such a lovely person that I met. Actually, I met through my channel and then doing readings for her, but she's such a nice person and has become a friend. And she is here on YouTube. I guess I should have asked, but she's here on YouTube. She's brand new, has a brand new channel. I think it's a month old. It's Essence of the Moon. So be sure to go check out her channel, Selena, and she's such a beautiful person. So she gifted me the Poe Tarot from my Amazon wish list. And maybe I can get these out of here. I might have to remove this inner piece in this box because they're constantly getting stuck in there. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to make some adjustments to that box. I'm sure everybody's seen this. I was so excited to get this. It's black and white, which is a little bit different for me. I've said before that I don't have a lot of black and white decks, but I'm branching out, I guess you could say. And this is one that I've really been interested in, especially since it has the quotes from Edgar Allan Poe books and things. So that was why I really wanted to use this. I can't wait to use this. I'm saving it, I think, as we get later into fall. And I'll be using it at that time. So you'll probably see it pop up more in my practice then. But I'm really excited to have this in my collection now. This was so nice and sweet of her to send this to me. And the other one that she sent is The Divine Doors by, is it Andre Engracia, I think. I love these little decks. This one is a little rock pool deck. I have the ones by Rockpool. I have the ones by US Games, also a couple of them. And it has the doors on the front, and then it'll have your whatchamacallit on the back. This one right here. This Draw Down the Moon. This has been sitting out beside me in the living room, and I will pull a card in the morning with my coffee. And every morning, I swear, and I'm like, I am shuffling this deck. What is happening here? But this Draw Down the Moon, the forest nymphs dance in sheer delight, singing soft songs, find us in the wild, good night. It has come out multiple times this month, and I'm just feeling like it's a sign that I need to get back into some sort of moon practice or something. No matter how many times I shuffled that into the deck, it seemed to continue to come out. But I love these little decks from Rockpool because they just give you, you know, just enough little guidance for the day or guidance for the evening, or, you know, however you want to use them. So I enjoy having these little decks. And my husband got me the Millennial Tarot by Scott Bergman off of my Amazon wish list. It just came just the other day. I don't like the box. I'm gonna be honest about that. I don't like the box. And look, mine's already all jacked up, but I might be putting this into a bag. I mean, I'm not anywhere near being a millennial, but I just love these cards. I love the like first like that's on the cards. I have not read through the guidebook. I was just shuffling it and pulling a card just for the fun of it to see what came out. The Etsy Queen. So this is going to be fun to play around with, and we'll see how I end up using this or where it fits in at in my practice. But yeah, I was excited to have this. So I think that is all the new goodies. I think. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is this book right here, which is not new to my collection. I've talked about or showed this on my channel before. A new series I think I'm going to start is the 365 Tarot Spread series. And the reason being is I've been thinking about my channel in this coming year and what I'm going to be doing on my channel. And as I get a new deck in, or as I work with a deck or that, I'll probably do some sort of showcase for that deck in a video. I'm still going to be doing my deck face-offs also, which, by the way, while I'm speaking of that, somebody asked me on one of my deck face-off videos, and I can't remember who, and I don't think they responded back. They wanted to see a deck face-off with the Earth Woman Tarot. I'm more than happy to do that. I don't know what I need to pair it with, though. I've been thinking and racking my brain of what I have in my collection that would be similar, that has not already been in one of my other deck face-offs, because I don't want to show the same decks together over and over. So I'm going to continue to look at my collection to see maybe what I can face this off against. If you have an idea, put it in the comments below. Maybe I'll see if I have that deck. I don't have a large indie collection, so just keep that in mind. But maybe there's something, like I said, that I can find to face off this deck against. So if you have a suggestion, put it in the comments below. Now, back to the 365 tarot spreads. So I was thinking about content, what else I can do on my channel. I really like to show how I work with the cards. I like to show how I read through a tarot spread. I see a lot of people talking about that's the kind of content that they want to see. I do want to add that back into my channel. I want to show more. I know I talk a lot about how I use decks at the end of every month, and like this video has been, I don't know, a year and a day long. That, you know, me rambling on about everything I've done in my tarot practice just for the month of January. So what I'm going to do is every month I'm going to do a tarot spread out of this book. And how I'm going to do it is I will section off, okay, here, we'll just use March as an example. So I will section off and I will kind of do bibliomancy style and see, you know, where I want to stop. Maybe I'll stop right here and do the reciprocation of love spread. And then I will read through this, and I'm going to choose my deck here while I pick the spread, not ahead of time, and see if I can pick a deck that maybe will relate to this spread and that sort of thing. So I'm going to make it a big thing, and it will give you a chance to see some spreads in here, at least 12 of them, and we'll see how it goes. And if I happen to fall off the practice, somebody say, hey, where did your tarot spread videos go? You know how that works sometimes. So I don't know what I was saying there. I got cut off because the phone rang, and I don't know, I've been interrupted about 100 times during this video, so who knows if any of it makes sense. So I'm going to end it. I'm going to end it here. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you being here. Please share with me in the comments below everything you've done in your practice this month. Let me know if you're going to be participating in the Earth Woman Tarot deck study that will be starting March 2nd. Let me know if you have any suggestions for me to do a deck face-off with the Earth Woman Tarot, and all the decks that you used for the month of January, or anything new that you may be adding into your practice. So is that it? Is that it? Then I already said thanks so much for being here. So until I see you next time, bye.